today's fight that was here with the brother Ego. How you doing, bro?
Good. How you doing today?
Good, man. Good. We're gonna talk a little boxing. Amir Khan. Amir Khan making the news, and they keep calling people out, man. You know, they said he's in the running to face Mayweather possibly in December. He won't be in the fight in September because of Ramadan, so they're looking at a Mayweather fight in September. He's calling out Lucas Matthysse. What's your thoughts on Amir Khan?
All right. Amir Khan's a sensitive subject. He has a lot of radical fans, so if you say anything, sometimes people take it the wrong way, but I'm going to be honest with you. Amir Khan is an entertaining fighter, but I don't think he's the smartest fighter. I don't think he's elite. And I say that because he does have some intangibles, like he has the hand speed. He has the frame like an Oscar De La Hoya, which poses anybody a problem at that weight division that he fights in, like 140, 147. But where he lacks, to me, is sometimes he tries to go for the gusto. He has that machismo type of attitude, similar to Sergio Martinez in the Chavez Jr. fight. If you watch how Sergio was fighting in that 12th round, he was fighting like a warrior. And I feel Amir Khan fights like that, but I don't think he has the chin or the style to keep up with that. So as far as Amir Khan, again, an entertaining fighter, but not the smartest fighter. And as far as Virgil Hunter, I see where he's going as far as training him. But I think it goes against Khan's natural instinct, which is going to always be a problem for Khan. I think he's just an ambush-style fighter. He relies on speed and overwhelming opponents. And by him being more calculated, reserved, I don't think he's going to look as good. So if you watch the Diaz fight, he didn't look good to me at all in that fight. Early in the fight, he looked pretty solid, but Diaz started catching him. And this is a catch-weight Diaz, a Diaz that a lot of people would consider past his prime. And again, a fighter coming down in weight who was much slower and that kind of thing. As far as Khan versus Mayweather, I don't think he's earned that based on his last 4 fights or whatnot. I don't think he's earned a Mayweather shot other than the fact that he puts asses in the seats because he's from the UK and he has a huge fan base. He's ranked number 2 at the 147-pound division, which is weird to me. But I just don't see him beating Mayweather. I think possibly in the first 3 rounds or so, he could trouble Mayweather with his reach and speed. But Mayweather would do what he does best, and that's adapt. And I don't think he's on the Mayweather level. I think Mayweather will find his niche, adapt, get the timing down. I'm always suspect of Khan's chin for obvious reasons. So again, I think Khan, his best chance is to try to overwhelm him. But that reckless style against a calculated, accurate puncher like Mayweather, I just don't see it. Even thinking about a Lucas Matthysse, I don't see it. Lamont Peterson, he's a tough customer, and the way he was able to dispose of Lamont Peterson faster than he did some of his previous opponents like Humberto Soto or a Jose, that really scares me for Khan fighting Matthysse. I think Matthysse hits too hard. He's a lot more patient than just the average banger or brawler, and he goes to the body. Every element to give a person like Amir Khan problems, in my opinion. So that's what I think.
I agree, man. I think Khan, one thing you got to give Khan credit for is that Khan, he's not a punk. That's one thing for sure.
I agree.
The dude he will try to fight anybody. The dude is like, he has no fear. He gets his ass whooped. He knows he has a shaky chin. He knows this, but yet still, he's calling out the hardest puncher in his division, in Lucas Matthysse. He knows he don't stand a chance. Well, I can even say he knows, because he might be crazy enough to think he can beat Floyd Mayweather. All right, so, I guess you can, it's a breath of fresh air in the sense that he has heart, and he's not, he's not scared to fight people, So I can give him credit for that, but Khan really needs to start focusing on his defense. I think he needs to focus on perfecting some form of defense to get his shit in order, because there's no way he's going to look good against a Floyd Mayweather. He go up there and he's going to get knocked out in 4 rounds, I believe. Mayweather too precise, too much of a sharpshooter. He's going to catch Khan and knock him out, And with Matthysse, it'll be the same. It'll be even worse probably. Matthysse going to come in for round 1 and try to knock Khan out, and there's nothing Khan can do besides run. So, I respect him for his ability, for his heart, But if he had a chin, then if Amir Khan had a chin, I would probably pick him to beat almost anybody, But You know, that's a big ingredient he's missing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. You can't train the chin. It's a well-known fact. You can't train the chin. You can do all the strength and conditioning, but either you have it and you're blessed with it or you don't. And Amir Khan the way he takes shots, it's questionable. For an elite fighter, if you were to consider Amir Khan an elite fighter, I've seen him hurt far too many times against Maidana. And this was back when Maidana wasn't with Robert Garcia. It looks like Maidana's improving with Robert Garcia. When he fought Maidana, from what I hear from rumors, they said he was in Puerto Rico. He wasn't really training hard. And he wasn't like a gym rat, so to speak. And Maidana gave him severe problems after a body shot that almost dropped Maidana. He almost didn't recover from that in the first round, but he weathered the storm and gave Khan severe problems later on in the fight. So imagine a Lucas Matthysse who exercises even more patience than Maidana at that point, and he hits hard. I just see it. Problems for Khan to take on someone like Matthysse or Mayweather, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, and then he's also calling out Devon Alexander. I guess he's thinking that, Devon, he probably thinks Devon is an easy win for him. But I think he'd be mistaken to go up and try to fight Devon Alexander, because if Khan tries to fight Devon, it's going to be, the word is out now. You can't do anything about your chin. Everybody knows you have a shaky chin. So no matter who you fight, everybody, that's why Diaz was so confident in fighting Khan, because he knows if I can hit this guy, I can hurt him. Okay, it doesn't matter how fast he is, doesn't matter how good his footwork work is. If I can hit this guy, I can get him out of there. And that's going to be everybody's mentality when they fight Amir Khan is, I'm going to hit him, I'm going to slug with him, I'm going to counter him, I'm going to punch when he's punching, and I'm going to catch him and knock him out. The word is out, so I don't know why he's looking at Devon Alexander.
I agree. I think Devon Alexander is probably the safer fight out of the Mayweather and Matthysse, but Devon Alexander has been in there with some tough competition. He's a slick fighter, and he's able to stay away from power punchers like Randall Bailey. And the thing with Khan, a lot of people, see, when we talk boxing, we tend to talk factual information. A lot of people, radical fans, they get mad, but this is the truth. One thing with Khan that a lot of people overlook, he's an entertaining fighter, but he doesn't have as much power as a lot of people give him credit for. If you look at his resume in 20-something fights or whatever amount of fights he's been in, he literally has like 1 or 2 knockouts on his resume. And the knockout was to Zab Judah, and Zab Judah wasn't knocked out cold. It looked like Zab Judah pretty much gave up. He was back on his feet, and he got counted out by the ref from a body shot that he was complaining it was low. But if you really look at Khan's resume, and you got to think about when they're building up a fighter, like building up Pacquiao or when they're building up Mayweather, the first like 12 opponents at least are usually bums. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Khan he didn't knock none of them dudes out. TKOs are different than KOs, and Khan he has like 1 or 2 KOs on his whole resume, even the bums that he was fighting early. So I think Khan's power is exaggerated. He has overwhelming, respectable power, but he doesn't have like raw Lucas Matthysse, Gennady Golovkin power. And I think some people think Khan has more power than he actually does. Where he does win and look good is when he's able to overwhelm and flurry and get in and outwork his opponents and then rough them up, have all that leather touching their face. But as far as like one-punch knockout power, he doesn't have that.
I agree. So what do you think of Sergio Martinez? All right, everybody, well, not everybody, but it's been brought to my attention. A lot of people are saying that, hey, man, you need to give Sergio more credit. Sergio is out there. He's the king of the middleweight division, and, some people are even calling him an all-time great middleweight, and I'm not a Sergio hater. I really am not a Sergio hater. I'm just not as easily impressed as some people. Like, Sergio, in my opinion, he's had some good wins, okay, but I haven't seen anything that would make me say all-time great status. He hasn't wowed me. I haven't seen him. I want to see him beat the guys right now at middleweight to have titles,
Yeah.
The Gill guy, the fucking
Quillen.
Peter Quillen, Golovkin. I'm gonna see him beat these guys, and then maybe I can start thinking, okay, maybe Sergio's one of the best middleweights ever, maybe, right? But if you still got names out there floating around in your division, you still got people out here that then you should want to put your stamp on the division that you're the man at that division, because he's fighting guys like Walker and Murray and all. I mean, fine, yeah, those are good, those are ranked fighters. But those aren't the best fighters in his division. He knows that. So, I'm, in my opinion, I'm just not that impressed with Sergio right now. He can box. He definitely is a skilled fighter. He and but I'm not ready to put him on the status of an all-time great middleweight because he's beaten fucking Barker and Martin Murray and these guys. I mean, it's just ridiculous in my opinion. But what's your take on Sergio?
I like Sergio, but I definitely hear where you're coming from. I think Sergio, he's another fighter kind of like Khan in the sense of he's game. I think he will fight a lot of people, especially in when he was at 154. He was willing to fight any guy, and he was a feared puncher, especially after the Paul Williams second round knockout. And then when he moved up, he's not a big middleweight, and I think he realizes that. So I don't think he's being tested with the top guys in the middleweight division. As far as like legendary status, I mean, I admire his story, just that he started boxing late and was able to do what he's done. But it's funny, I hate to use this example, but people slander certain fighters like Mayweather, for instance, about resume. They say, oh, his resume. And at the time, Mayweather was fighting ranked people, like the number one guy, people that were supposed to beat him, Diego Corrales and things like that. Diego Corrales had everything to beat Mayweather. He was almost 6 feet tall. He had punching power. He was a feared guy at the time. So when it comes to Sergio Martinez, if you look at his resume, a lot of the guys he was kind of supposed to beat. Kelly Pavlik. Kelly Pavlik was a good fighter, but he was a lot slower. You know what I mean? Slow as molasses. Sergio Martinez is crafty and elusive with respectable power. So, I mean, realistically, matchup-wise, he was supposed to beat him. And I believe he beat him after Bernard Hopkins already had a blueprint on how to beat Kelly Pavlik. So, as far as legendary, yeah, I think he would have to mix it up with some more of the guys. Like, if he beat, like, Gennady Golovkin or somebody who's, like, hot right now, Peter Quillin, that would definitely say a lot.
Yeah, I would like to see him beat Golovkin. I would like to see him beat Peter Quillin, that fucking Gil bum. And, I would like to see him put a stamp on it, man. Just put your stamp on it so there's no more doubt. And then possibly move up, or if you want to even be greater, maybe come. I mean, Sergio, they keep bragging about how he can make 150. Go down to 154 and whoop on Canelo, or even try to get a Mayweather fight or something to catch weight, or whatever you're going to do. But he needs more to be considered great. I think today's boxing fans have a "what have you done for me lately" type of mentality, where they just start, anytime, like Matthysse. Matthysse had a great knockout over Matthysse, and then all of a sudden it's, Matthysse is the new Roberto Duran. Matthysse is knocking out anybody who gets in the ring across from him. It's like, come on, man. Damn, wasn't y'all just saying this about Marcos Maidana a couple years ago? Like, come on, man. Like, wasn't y'all just saying this about Juan Lopez? All these guys who have great knockout power, but you can't, just because guys knock people out, okay, and you get excited, knockouts are fun to watch, that doesn't mean that you start putting them on all-time great status before they've proven themselves. You gotta see these guys in some combats before see them in some tough situations before we can start talking all-time great status.
Yeah, I think that's more or less kind of the casual fans who just chime in. They don't necessarily follow. Like, it's easy to look at somebody's career currently and say whatever you want to say, but if you weren't watching boxing when they first started, you don't know their whole history and their pedigree, it's easy to, like, you haven't seen Lucas Matthysse. If you just seen Lamont Peterson, I mean, then you're like, okay, that's it. But you have to watch boxing entirely if you want to make these comments about the Mathisses. And people don't realize weight plays a lot. It's a big part. I did an interview with Jonathan Banks, and he was saying that he's a boxer. So if anyone knows, he should know. Matthysse is destructive at 140, but who knows what his power is looking like at 147, or, you know what I mean? The higher you go up, you never know what your power is going to look like. So people saying Khan destroys Mayweather or this and that, you really don't know until they step up to the plate. Khan hasn't fought at 147, so if he wasn't knocking out dudes at 140, to knock out guys at 147 might be harder. To be honest, like, if Khan were to fight Maidana at 147 with Maidana working with Robert Garcia, that's a scary fight for Khan, in my opinion.
It is. And I think that, I said this before, I think Khan, Maidana, Josefio Lopez, Andre Berto, and all those guys, Victor Ortiz, they should all be fighting each other. They should all have their own little tournament. It'll be exciting as hell. People would watch it. You know, they could fill up the fucking slots on Showtime all the time and stop trying to recycle these guys and put them in there with A-plus fighters because they're not on that level. Just have them guys fight each other. And whoever comes out of that little shit, maybe give them a big fight. But other than that, man, you know, it's just ridiculous that Amir Khan wants to be elite. He wants to be elite. I understand that, but he's not. I mean, his performances keep showing he's not elite. And that's the third thing about Sergio. Sergio, like I said, he can fight, he can box very well, but he keeps getting hurt by fucking, I mean, some of these guys are bums, man. I'm just being honest. Some of these guys are just no-name bums. And he's going out there getting hurt by these guys, getting knocked down and struggling. And like, God damn, man, come on, Sergio. Like, when are you going to totally outclass somebody and look like the guy who you're supposed to be? When are you going to just shut it down and become the king of the middleweight division without all this bullshit? Even with Chavez Jr., yeah, he outboxed Chavez, beautiful boxer for 11 rounds, and then what happened? 12th round, okay, you get dropped. You just ruined your masterpiece. You know, that's what separates Mayweather from a lot of these other guys is that it is staying focused the entire fight. Staying focused from round 1 to round 12 and finishing it. You know, not doing stupid shit. And that's why I couldn't put Sergio on that status right now.
I mean, you just said it perfectly. That it is that. That's exactly what it is. That's what separates it, and that's what kind of separates the casual boxing fans from the people who've been watching it for some time. Usually, is because they'll say, "Oh, Mayweather Guerrero was a bore fest." You have to put it in perspective. The reason it was a bore fest or less action than you expected was because of kind of what Mayweather was doing. He was taking away Guerrero's confidence. Guerrero looked highly confident rounds 1 through 3. He looked very sharp, looked confident, looked focused. But as the fight went on and on and on, he looked more hesitant to throw. And you got to realize something happened. He looked like he had the conditioning to go all 12 rounds, but something in the course of those rounds happened to the point that discouraged him. And that's what good boxing is. If you watch Terrence Crawford versus Bradis Prescott, the reason that throughout the fight and as the fight got later and later, Prescott looked more and more concerned and frustrated and was complaining to the ref was because he was getting outboxed and he knew he needed something big or a knockout or knockdown to win. So you look at Sergio Martinez, like you said, he kind of ruined his masterpiece by doing everything right for 11 and a half rounds and almost getting knocked out. And that's what I don't understand about fans. Like I think they just want somebody to pose a problem for fighters like Mayweather. And if they don't, then they're boring fighters. Or Rigondeaux. They look at Rigondeaux and they're like, oh, he's boring. It's the opponent's job to figure out a way to expose him, to do what Chavez Jr. did to Sergio Martinez and that kind of thing. So if you're getting bored, it's because they're opponents. Not that they're not worthy. It's just they can't decode the mystery. And as far as Sergio Martinez, I think he's on the Roy Jones Jr. side. And don't get me wrong, because I think Roy Jones Jr. in his prime is superior to Sergio in every way. But I think Roy Jones Jr. was ultimately a very, very athletic fighter who relied on his speed, his footwork, his power, and just overall athleticism. And as he got older and like he went up in weight and then went down in weight and that kind of thing, it became more susceptible. But then you look at guys like Marquez, and they look pretty solid even at the later ages. But these athletic fighters like Roy Jones Jr., Pacquiao, Sergio Martinez, later in their career, when they start to slow down just a bit, that's when they start looking vulnerable. So
yeah, that's true.
People like Pacquiao, like he was clearly winning the round he got knocked out in. And it makes for exciting boxing, but at the same time, it's a foolish decision on Pacquiao's part. You had Marquez bleeding, his nose looked like it was possibly broken almost, and you're winning the last 2 rounds, and then in the last 5 seconds, you get yourself knocked out for being too aggressive and overconfident. It's entertaining for sure, but at the same time, it's not smart, and I'm sure Pacquiao wishes he didn't get overconfident.
Yep, and that's what separates, those type of decisions right there is what's going to separate all these guys from beating Floyd Mayweather, because they could be talented, they could be able to hurt him, they could be able to do a lot of things, but those mistakes that they make, Floyd will be able to capitalize on them, and they don't. Nobody's been able to capitalize off of the mistakes that Mayweather makes. Few people have been able to do so. So But that said, bro, we're going to end this joint. You got any last words for the people?
No, just stay tuned to both our channels for boxing updates, and that's it, really.
No doubt, no doubt. This is Silver Fight News and the Brother Ego, and we'll holler.